The Banshees of Inisherin is directed by Martin McDonagh, starring Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, Kerry Condon, and Barry Cogan, and is the story of a kind of like a friendship gone sour in a place called Inisherin, which is a smaller, isolated island off the coast of Ireland. So basically, Colin Farrell stars as a man called Padraig Sullivan, and Brendan Gleeson stars an older fellow called Colin Doherty. And basically, it kind of just follows the story of how Colin doesn't really want anything to do with Padraig anymore, and the entirety of the movie is focused on this island. First off, the island looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, the cinematography and camera work of just getting all the shots of this place is great, but it really communicates to you quite quickly of how barren and empty and isolated this community really is. There's like nothing to do on this island apart from go to the pub, or just stay at home, watch the beach, go for a walk along the plains, the ruined houses that used to be there. And basically, Patrick's only form of entertainment, apart from trying to keep on talking to his former friend who no longer wants anything to do with him, is basically just hang out with his donkey at home. So you can see that it's a very boring place to be and a very soul-sucking place to be. This island is completely desolate, with really nothing to do, no fun to be had, no community activities, just sitting in your cottage house, passing time by going to the pub, until you probably eventually want to leave the island, go back to Ireland, mainland Britain, or eventually die. And this is basically Colin's idea. He doesn't want to hang around Patrick anymore because he finds him dull, and he wants to be remembered. He wants to do something, wants to make a piece of music and be remembered as somebody before he eventually dies. So he's like aspiring to be like a violinist, a musician, and Patrick keeps on wanting to just talk to him and just get to catch up with him, because this is his only real friend that he knows on this island, apart from a couple of minor acquaintances he makes at his pub, his bartender, and of course his wife. But as the time goes on, you can really see that that Colin is really there's something wrong with him. He's not right. He's like extremely depressed and doesn't want to hang around anybody, and he warns Padraig that if he keeps on intruding on him and keeps on barging into his life, he's going to cut off one of his fingers. And at first you don't believe this until it actually happens. He actually does cut off one of his fingers and throw it at his door. And as soon as Padraig finds this finger, he is immediately worried about him. He feels that he's completely gone off the rails, that his mental health is not good, and that he's probably might even try and consider suicide. So he tries and get back in like a healthy friendship with this guy, because he knows he's not really doing anything else or talking really to anyone else, and there's something between them that's worth looking into. But he cuts off all of his fingers and throws them all at his door, and this is when you really realise that something really is wrong with him, and there is probably something about this island and just the whole desolate emptiness of it all that is really getting to him, and him feeling like really he's questioning his like mortality and whether anybody is going to remember him for anything when he's gone. He becomes very reclusive, and he's very antisocial, and he something that Patrick always says, that he liked him because he was nice, and being nice in life is the only thing that's really worth living for, and it doesn't matter if you're famous or not, as long as you're a good person you'll be remembered. But the movie continues, and I guess Patrick does start to get a bit more desperate. I won't spoil any more of the story, but I think where this movie really succeeds is really the whole atmosphere and tone of it all, and trying to communicate just how soul-sucking and barren this island is, with nothing to do in it. And the performances of Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell, Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan were all very solid performances. They weren't terrible, they weren't bad, but I guess maybe they could have given a little bit more, but it was a good performance. There was some strong emotion coming from a lot of these actors, and overall it does have a very slow start. You kind of feel like you're like half an hour in and you're really starting to question when the real traction is going to start, whether the movie's already gotten going, because it starts off very quaintly, very quietly, with not much going on. But I think that was the point of the entire movie. So yeah, it does work its way up to a pretty emotional ending, a pretty conclusive ending. This movie's being nominated for 9 Oscars, so I'm not sure if it's that good, if it's really worthy of winning 9 Oscars for this. But the movie was good, I will say that. But as I said, it could have been a bit more entertaining. It was pretty well written, I will say that. But people are saying that this movie was really funny. I mean, I didn't laugh watching this movie. There wasn't really anything about it that I really found to be belly-achingly funny or really a comedy. It is Irish though, and I do have Irish heritage. One side of my family comes from Ireland, and I do know a lot of the Irish lingo, like people saying small as a wee, and just take a wee dander down the street, meaning take a small walk. But I think this was more into kind of tapping into more of the traditional Ireland, like kind of almost like the Gaelic language, which I'm still not very well very familiar with. So if you like Irish culture, Irish speaking, then you'll probably get something more out of this movie. Though I had more of a good time with Belfast, really. I felt there was more stuff going on in that movie and it was a bit more exciting, a few more places to go, things to see, while this one felt a bit more depressive and soul-sucking, which was probably the aim of the movie. But overall, it was a good movie. I recommend it. If you want to see it in theatres, then go see it. Make your own opinions. I guess time will tell whether the movie will get that many Oscars and whether it really deserves those Oscars. But I'll have to take a look at what other people think of the movie. Overall, I thought it was very solid. Very well shot as well. I think the cinematography was probably the strongest aspect of this film. So I recommend it. It wasn't probably... I'm not sure whether it will make it into my top 10 list of the year, but it will probably fit in somewhere. But overall, a good movie, but I probably am expecting a bit better when it comes to movies of my taste. But overall, that's my review of the Banshees of Inisherin, and I hope you've enjoyed this review. Thanks for supporting the channel. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.